Welcome to Star Watch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. In one heartbeat, everything changed. Two of China's most beloved stars, Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, were driving toward peace. But fate had something else in store. A calm evening turned into chaos. A private drive became a global prayer. What really happened on that highway? And why are fans saying, this wasn't just an accident? Stay with us, Star Watch Now family, as we uncover the unseen layers behind this emotional story that's still shaking millions across the world. The night began not with warning, but with warmth, an almost poetic calm that often precedes something irreversible. After wrapping their final scenes for the anticipated drama Crimson Promise, Wang Iba and Xiao Zhan were not just co-stars completing another project. They were two individuals standing at the intersection of success and deep mutual respect. There was a quiet kind of joy on set that evening. Not the manufactured excitement of cameras and red carpets, but the natural ease that comes from working closely, laughing genuinely, and understanding each other beyond dialogue and scripts. In a rare candid moment captured on a crew member's phone, Xiao Zhan could be seen offering Iba a small piece of fruit from the craft table, joking that it was a victory snack. Iba smiled and playfully nudged him, their laughter echoing softly in the background as the set lights dimmed for the night. It was a private joy, unscripted, intimate, and incredibly human. Another video, now circulating online, shows the two huddled under a shared coat, trying to stay warm between takes. They weren't just actors at work. They were two souls aligned in rhythm, in energy, in something that felt remarkably like home. To celebrate the final day of filming, the director surprised the cast with a cake. Though it was meant for the entire team, Iba and Xiao ended up feeding each other a slice, laughing as frosting landed on Xiao's nose. "Make a wish," someone called out. Iba didn't hesitate. "Let's both make one," he said, locking eyes with Xiao in a moment so brief, yet so filled with unspoken depth. What none of them knew, what no camera could ever predict, was that these were the final moments of light before a devastating shadow would fall. These fragments of laughter and shared glances now carry a different weight. They are no longer just memories of a successful wrap-up. They are relics of a joy interrupted, an evening that began in celebration and ended in sirens. Looking back, these clips aren't simply heartwarming. They are hauntingly precious. Not because they're rare, but because they remind us that life can change, completely and without warning, in the space between one laugh and the next. The silence that followed was not just the absence of noise. It was the absence of breath, of certainty, of control. Only an hour earlier, Wang Iba and Xiao Zhan had left the studio, surrounded by laughter, warm goodbyes, and a quiet sense of accomplishment. Their vehicle, a sleek dark gray SUV, moved steadily through the winding outskirts of Beijing. The city lights faded behind them, and with them, the bustling protection of familiarity. Ahead lay calm roads, tall trees, and the kind of stillness that feels almost sacred. It should have been a peaceful ride, a chance to unwind, to talk about the future, or simply enjoy the silence of shared company. But within minutes, that calm gave way to chaos. At a sharp bend, everything changed. An oil slick, unexpected, unnatural, sent the vehicle into a violent spin. The tires lost grip, and the car skidded sideways, turning once, then twice, before crashing headfirst into the steel guardrail. The sound was like a scream ripped from the earth itself. Metal contorting, glass imploding, followed by a moment of surreal quiet, as if the world itself had paused in disbelief. Then came the smoke, the fire, the horror that no one on that road would ever forget. Inside the vehicle, the damage was catastrophic. The passenger side, where Xiao Zhan had been seated, absorbed the full brunt of the impact. His body was pinned, unconscious, motionless. Wang Iba, though wounded, regained partial awareness. Disoriented and in pain, he could still register the danger. Outside, distant voices began to rise. Lights approached. But inside the wreckage, time moved differently, slow, distorted, heavy with fear. It wasn't just a crash. It was a rupture in reality. Dashcam footage from a passing lorry captured only seconds of the impact, yet those few frames spread across the internet like wildfire. Headlines began to form, but they couldn't capture the truth of it, the unbearable fragility of that moment. The crash didn't just break the silence. It shattered something much deeper. The illusion that stars are invincible, that youth guarantees safety, that life follows logic. In a single, brutal moment, the road reminded everyone, fans, families, and the world watching, that tragedy doesn't knock. It arrives uninvited, and when it does, nothing is ever the same again. Within the twisted remains of the SUV, time had dissolved into a haze of smoke, pain, and fading consciousness. For Wong Iba, the world was no longer shaped by sound or light. It was shaped by instinct, by the quiet pulse of something stronger than fear. He awoke to searing pain across his ribs, a dull throb in his head, and the suffocating scent of scorched metal. The vehicle was tipped on its side, groaning under its own weight. Flames licked the edges of the crumpled bonnet, and the air was thick with the acrid warning of fire. Disoriented and bleeding, Iba's first thought was not of escape, but of Xiao Zhan. He turned his head, barely able to move his shoulder, and saw him, motionless, slumped forward, the seatbelt pressing into his chest like a cruel reminder that safety had failed. Panic gripped him, not loud or dramatic, but sharp and cold. There was no time to think. Crawling forward inch by inch, each breath a battle against his fractured ribs, Iba reached for Xiao's seatbelt buckle with trembling hands. The metal was hot. His vision swam, but he would not stop. Outside, sirens began to wail. Lights flashed somewhere beyond the flames. Rescuers shouted, trying to pull Iba free through the broken window. He refused. He waved them off with the kind of determination born only from devotion. With one final lunge, he unfastened the buckle and used what strength remained to shield Zhao's body with his own. The heat grew unbearable. The seconds stretched endlessly. Still, he stayed. Later, firefighters would say they had never seen anything like it. A young man, injured, refusing safety so that another might live. In a moment when most would surrender to fear, he stood defiantly in its face. Not with words, but with action. Not for glory, but for something far more personal. This was not a performance. This was not a scene written in any script. It was Wong Iba, not the actor, not the icon, but the human being, choosing love over logic, loyalty over survival. And in doing so, he gave the world not just a story of pain, but a powerful glimpse of courage that asks nothing in return, except that we remember it. Both men were rushed to Beijing West Medical Center under police escort. As news broke, fans gathered outside within minutes. Some barefoot, some in pajamas, just holding candles and praying. Medical updates trickled in. Iba, concussion. 3 fractured ribs. Minor burns. Stable. Xiao, internal bleeding. Pelvic fracture. Severe shock. On ventilator. 1 ICU nurse shared. Iba refused sedation until he could see Zhao's hand move. And when Xiao finally stirred, his first word wasn't, "Where am I?" It was, "Iba." Echoes of devotion. What happened next shocked everyone. In a rare move, Iba's studio paused all brand deals, returning millions in contracts. Instead, they set up an anonymous foundation in Xiao Zhan's name to support road safety education for underprivileged children. Even more touching, a fan-led initiative in Thailand planted 2,147 white lotuses near Chiang Mai. Each carried a message. You healed us through stories. Let us help you heal. In France, an artist mural of Iba shielding Xiao appeared near the Seine River. In the Philippines, fans raised over $9,000 for charity in their honor. But was it really just an accident? New theories emerge. Several new theories have come to light. A van spotted tailing the SUV for 14 minutes before the crash. An alleged voice memo of Iba saying, "They're watching us. Something's off." The crash site had no prior reports of oil or slicks that evening. GPS data shows sudden braking patterns inconsistent with human reaction time. Authorities are now working with independent forensic teams as public pressure grows to find the truth. Beyond fame, a bond that transcends screens. Fans of The Untamed always suspected there was more to Yibo and Xiao's chemistry than just acting. But now, after a near-death experience, their actions speak louder than rumors. Yibo sleeps in the hospital hallway, reading Xiao's favorite poetry aloud. He's been heard humming a lullaby they once sang during a break on set. Xiao, now recovering slowly, reportedly smiled for the first time when he heard that tune. A bond this raw, this unwavering, it's not scripted. The soul deep, light in the dark, a global movement of hope. In response, fans across 20-plus countries launched the campaign #NotJustStars, a message that even celebrities need protection, rest, and real care. In Indonesia, a floating lantern festival honored both men. In Canada, a dance school choreographed a tribute to The Untamed. In Korea and Japan, subway stations lit up with digital banners urging kindness and healing. Even major global media like BBC, NHK, and CNN touched on the story, not as a scandal but as a human moment the world needed. A story still being written. As of today, both Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan are in stable condition, though recovery will take months. Physically, emotionally, spiritually. And yet, they've already given us something invaluable. A reminder of life's fragility. Proof that loyalty can live off-screen. And a reason to believe that even in tragedy, there can be beauty. Final words. When the world paused, we all took a breath. Maybe this wasn't just about an accident. Maybe it was the world's way of reminding us that the people we admire are human too. They bleed. They fear. They love. And sometimes they risk everything for someone who means everything. Orange Heart, subscribe, share, and stay with us. If the story moved you, please don't forget to subscribe to Star Watch now for more powerful, real-life stories from Asia's most beloved stars. Your support helps us continue sharing truth, emotion, and humanity, one story at a time. Folded hands, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay kind, and keep them in your hearts. Until next time, this is Star Watch Now. Glowing Star.